the first slide. The first slide talks about what are the trends what we're seeing out here. And I have taken two of the most renowned folks or the analysts. One is a Gartner and the second is the McKinsey. Okay. Now the Gartner is saying everybody's talking about infinite, the data center. So what exactly is the infinite, the data center? Every company is seeing their IT resources are expanding. It could be of because of the automation. It could be of ERP, the security sales, mailing, the social, the media, or the marketing team is saying, guys, I want to launch a new, the marketing thing for my the folks or for my customers on the Facebook. And the CEO wants to see the analysis, what is it impacting in terms of the business. So the IT role is getting more closely intertwined with a lot of things which are taking place onto the market. So the first thing is called an infinite, the data center. In this, what we are seeing is that every customer we go and talk to, every customer started the data center journey about 5 years back, 8 years back, 10 years back. And we find that every customer is also seeing, how do I optimize the data center? Now, I need a show of hands out here. This is the question which I have. 5 years back, per rack, the kilowatt used to be about 2 kVA, 3 kVA. In fact, even today also. Are you seeing that there's an increase in the per kilowatt? And I'm starting from the bare, then we'll move from the data center, we'll move to the IT, we'll move to the apps layer, and then we move to the managed services and the dashboard. Why is that, taking place? So what's happening is, more of compute power is coming in the same, the use space itself. And what's happening is that the earlier data center which the customer had built up had not anticipated. So forget about the end customers. I'm talking about the service providers also. Even the service provider had not anticipated whether they can have the DC space which could take care of high load, the racks. Now with that actually coming, a lot of customers are finding the existing data center might not be able to meet the requirement. So that's one thing. So we're talking about infinite data center. This is what the Gartner says about it. And I'm talking from the perspective while I'm having this interaction with the Gartner folks in India or in Singapore. These guys are saying from that perspective, people are talking of using more of the IT. The second thing what we're seeing is that the virtualization and the VCIA. A show of hands, how many of your environment is virtualized? Any portion, 5%, 2%, 10%, 20%. Can I have a show of hands out here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 15 folks I see out here, out of maybe 40 people, close to, so it's almost about the 33%. Virtualization, I'm not saying is a mantra which solves all your problems. I have seen application where you can't virtualize it. It's not possible because the application could be the legacy application as per the business requirement. But a lot of non-critical applications and even the critical applications, people are going for the virtualization. Virtualization is not reducing the footprint itself. Virtualization is helping really in terms of providing a better services and the uptime and the SLA, both in terms of the backup and the DR. So it plays a very critical role. Gartner is stating that about 70 to 80% of the IT environment will get virtualized. Whether we like it or not, it's going to get virtualized. Every application, even when we talk to folks like SAP, we talk to folks like Oracle, everybody is talking of the virtualization in some way. Oracle itself is coming. Oracle itself has its own virtualization stack. How many of us know it? It's called an Oracle Virtual Machine. They say that Oracle Virtual Machine maybe is the best stack to run the Oracle, the loads onto it. So every even an app vendor like an application vendor like an Oracle is also talking about the virtualization. The third thing is cloud. I know cloud is a term which I feel is the most abused term. I don't know. I mean, we've been hearing cloud for the last 5-6 years, and people have been asking when will it really rain. The cloud is always there. Okay, so I feel this 15, 16, and 17, especially 2015. 14, 15, 16, and 17 is actually a time for cloud. We have been talking cloud since 2008 and 9. This is the time when we will actually see, and we are literally seeing. I'm not talking of a peripheral or long tail applications like your SFAs and your CRM. I'm talking of ERP applications which are moving to cloud. For example, SAP is coming up with a technology called HANA. Do we know about it? SAP HANA, I mean, folks know about it, right? SAP is, if you look into India, if I just talk of an application on SAP and I'm starting from a very critical app out here, 70% of SAP deployment in India is on a RISC-based platform. 70%. 70%. Would you believe it? So it will be either HP UX or IBM AIX or the RISC-based platform. SAP is saying we will move up. Their whole the roadmap is on x86 now. HANA is completely on x86 in-memory computing. So what we are seeing is that they are going to come up with their the cloud model. SAP has got its own the cloud model for Europe. They are seeing how soon can we come to India. So this is an area where folks like us also provide the same platform using the technology being provided by SAP. So these are the trends of what we are seeing. I'm not going to spend too much of time on the right column because what McKinsey is saying is what actually Gartner is saying. So basically we are seeing an explosion of the data out there, and each of us in this room is getting touched in actually some way or another. What are the growth the drivers of it? We are seeing a converged infrastructure. Now the customer whom I go and meet in the CXO and the CIO, I go and meet, they're saying, I have a network layer, I have a storage the layer, I have a compute layer, and I have an apps layer on top of it. Okay. Can you have a model apart from the apps that all and plus the data center piece? Can you have that all this thing is combined and be given as a single point, the view to me, as a single pane of view? One major driver for this is when you come to the SLA and the uptime and the troubleshooting, the end customer doesn't want to talk to multiple OEMs in the partner. Is that a point which resonates with you? I mean, this is the input what we're getting from the various the folks and the customers. Can I ask this question maybe to Mr. Singh out here? AK Singh, right? The good thing is that we have the tag, so at least I don't know, but at least I can. So do you agree with this thought process? Because I want this to be as interactive as possible. Since you're in the SIFI data center, please don't agree with all the points which I'm saying. Please have your own thoughts and input, because this is more of an interactive section. So I'm just taking one of the things out there. Converged infrastructure. So converged infrastructure means your network, storage, your compute, your basic IT layer, and we are talking about the infra layer, is converged out there. And it means that there is a single owner or a single choke to throat. Does it make sense if you have one SLA owner, one person whom you can go and say, guys, if there's something wrong in my IT stack, you are the person instead of me talking to about 3 people. Does it make sense from your operations and from your day-to-day?
We have been making since beginning itself. The multi-handling, multi-vendor is always a risky.
Yeah.
And so better to have one vendor or service provider who can take care of all these things and resources and discuss all this, resolve all this.
Yeah, and this is what I'm hearing from various folks also. Various customers I go and meet, they are saying, can we have a single, the SLA and a single guy to catch hold of. The second thing which I want to ask out here in this forum, yeah, please.
5 years or 10 years, but there would be a dependency on that vendor in case we go with a single vendor partner.
Yeah.
That would create a dependency on that, and if you move to different one, that won't be easy for us.
And that's where you have the things like the BCP and the DR to take it. Generally, what happens when you have the DC or your production environment at one end, you want a DR at a different end, and maybe a different the vendor also out there. So it actually depends. I have gone and met various customers who says, I'm more comfortable having DC and DR with the same guy. And there are customers who say, I'll have a DC and DR with a different customer, with a different vendor, because I don't want to put all eggs in one basket. So there are different school of thoughts out there. But I'm just trying to say, so there are ways to go and address those points. Now, converged infrastructure, if I move on to it, are you seeing that there is a need for a utility, the model? And I want maybe somebody from here in this row to just give their thoughts on the utility model. Utility model is typically where, let's say, the CXO, the CEO is saying, guys, there's something in cloud, we pay as per the usage, why do we need to come with such hefty IT budget? Is there this kind of a discussion which is taking place in your company?
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, most of it.
But what are the drivers? I mean, I'm just talking to the drivers, I'm just trying to validate these pointers from you folks here. Why is maybe a CFO or a CEO, like when I go to my CFO and ask him, I need this, the budget, the approval for the cloud. Why are they talking of the utility model? Why do you see, and do you see the benefit in the utility the model? There are two. So there are two parts of the question. One is, why do you see is the management asking for the utility model? And secondly, do you personally see those of the model has a benefit or not?
Instead of going into the capex model,
Yeah, can I have, can you just, give your name please?
Amit Verma.
Amit, yeah, Amit, please.
Yeah, instead of going into the capex model, now companies are going into the opex model. Like the operating expenditure is like to have it in the model,
Okay.
and no capex investment further.
So if you go with the capex, let's say the sanction note or what we use our term, I'm talking about the term what I use in SIFI and my colleagues use it. If I go with a sanction note to the CFO,
Yeah.
is he adverse to seeing a capex? If you go with an opex, he's more open to it.
Yeah.
You feel so? He's more open to it.
More.
There are ways to defer the expenditure over the.
So the cash flow is the important point. What you
But
say?
the point is,
Yeah.
what I have tried, in OPEX model also, the service providers are going to recover the amount in just 3 years.
Correct.
This, I have found so many proposals for
Yeah.
OPEX model.
Yes.
And I have compared with the CAPEX.
Yes.
I found that equipment which I want to invest, I would like to utilize that equipment maybe for 6 years, 7 years down the line.
Yeah.
But the service provider, which is giving the same equipment on OPEX model, they try to recover the cost in 3 years.
Yeah.
And the cost on OPEX model is almost double of
Yeah.
the CAPEX.
So it's a very valid point from Mr. I can't read your name, sir.
It's an EK.
AK Girl. So your batch is actually. So I have heard this saying that, guys, when you take the same hardware server on an OPEX model, why is the cost so high, and why are you recovering it in 3 years or the 4 years time if I want to use that hardware for the 5 years or the 6 years time? One thing which I would like to touch base right now before I go to the next slide is, when we are comparing the capex, the OPEX and the capex cost, OPEX comes with various other services. Whenever I've gone to a customer and I've spoken to my internal team, they say, Adarsh, you have a hardware, let's say you are saying 10 servers. 10 servers cost you suppose 10 lakhs, just take it. You're going to charge me 4 lakhs every year. So in 3 years you charge me 12 lakhs, and this 10 lakhs can actually work for maybe 5 years. Okay. When you're providing that 12 lakhs out there, 12 lakhs is not for the capex per se. When we provide the services, I'm just trying to differentiate out here. We provide just not the capex to opex conversion, but all services which are related to it, which is your operation, your maintenance, your SLA, and the performance. That piece sometimes is not taken into consideration in my discussion with few of the customers. Maybe in your case it's taken into. Maybe in your case it's taken into. Okay, you have taken this. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll be very frank out here, and I want to be frank, honest here. I have seen customers. And I have seen cloud service providers. So before joining SIFI, I was with HCL for 14 years, and before that I was with Wipro. So I've seen the cloud from HCL, Wipro, and I wouldn't say Wipro that that time we had a cloud, but we had a the quite similar the model out here. I will not say cloud is cheap. I'll be very frank out here. I will not say cloud is cheap. If somebody is giving a cloud as a cheap, it might be economical, but one would have to look at a total TCO out here. So there are certain slides which I would cover with a real-time case study. Large customers who have moved from their environment to a cloud environment. So when I say cloud, it could be private cloud, which is dedicated for the customer. Please don't take cloud as AWS. Huh? We are not that. Amazon is not the cloud I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's certain stack which would be dedicated. It's like a private, the stack itself. It is an on-OPEX model, but with a certain more the features like the orchestration layer what we have. And when we go, we see that it's not the TCO the reduction, but the business benefit that company gets in terms of go-to-market and how fast we can turn around time. The TAT. TAT what we have from the CMO perspective, the Chief Marketing Officer. So I'll take a case, case study where the CMO was saying that I want to launch this advertisement and this media campaign in next about 3 weeks time or 4 weeks time for an FMCG company. I'm just taking as an example. It might be relevant or not. I'm just trying to put the point across here. He said if I go with the traditional model, my IT is not that aligned or is not flexible enough to meet my media campaign, the timelines. Can I have a model which I can use it for that period of 6 to 8 weeks where the IT infrastructure or the IT folks are aligned with my the marketing campaign, and after that it can go off or into a hibernation So I'll talk of cases. So it's just not the TCO per se from the cost, but also what is the business the benefit. And I think each of us in our role as we go along, because I also come from a technology background. I used to take care of the technology, not a long time back, about 6 years back or so. And I see all of us in the technology role while we're moving in our career, our closeness with the business is getting more intimate. So while we go and tell the CEO and the CFO, if you do this model, apart from the TCO, just don't look from 100 rupees to 110 or 100 rupees to 80 rupees. From 100, if you're going to 105 or 110, these are the business benefit what I can get it for you. And those business benefit, your validation would be from the CMO and your sales and the business. That's where I feel now the IT folks are getting involved, because IT is getting very, very interlinked, and this is what we are hearing from customers and also from the analysts. So I thought I'll just put that the point. That's a very good input.
I have a point.
Yeah,
we talked about utility mode. We talked about the business benefits and all that. But I mean, I still feel. I think I'll agree with Mr. Agarwal that over a period of time, if you are talking about that you're running a great facility, you're doing virtualization, you're doing convergence, why that benefit is not passed to the customer? Why can't we have a depreciating price model year on year? If using technology, then you should be doing something to reduce the prices also.
Correct.
Because that way, I think the
good point.
OpEx model would actually become more sensible.
Good point. As long as we do a genuine and real TCO validation, I have seen that the customer sees the benefit out there. If we are taking it holistically. For example, I was talking to a CIO a couple of weeks back in Mumbai, and he said, Adarsh, I have say 500 square feet of DC out there, and these are my components, and we are having certain challenges. So while we did the TCO, one important thing which was not taken into consideration from his perspective was maybe the power cost, which actually becomes a very high, but it might not be debited to the P&L of the IT department per se, or it might not go from the budget of the IT department, but from the CFO's pocket it does go. So from the company's pocket it does go. As far as the service provider is concerned, be it CP or be it non-CP, it goes from his pocket too also. So when you look at the TCO, I'm just giving one example out here, okay? And I have seen cases when we do a genuine real TCO, the benefit comes out. But more of the benefit I'm seeing the customers are going for the cloud is for the business than just the TCO. About 3 years back or last 3 years, people were thinking go to cloud. It's more, it's kind of a the blue pill, you have it and things are being just taken care of. No, it's not that. And people have the the notion that the cost will be cheaper. I'm saying cost is almost the same, and sometimes it might be a little bit on the higher side also. Because what you're just getting is just not the same hardware. The cloud is not IT finance company. It's not a finance company which is converting from, we are not HDFC or the ICICI converting a capex to an opex. We are talking about the services, SLA, and what we are giving it to the end customer. I think that is something what has to be taken into consideration if you want to do a fair comparison. Some folks who says, no, I don't want to see that, I want this hardware, and this hardware is costing me 10 lakh rupees, why are you charging 12 lakh in next 3 years time? Not in your case, but I'm talking of this the other cases too. So we have to have a very detailed discussion. I'll be more than happy, and my team will be more than happy out here.
My feeling is, make the comparison between OPEX and CapEx.
Yeah.
I think depend on the organization to organization. I'll tell you an example. Suppose nowadays IPL is happening.
Yes.
If the board saying to me that when today's IPL is happening, we'll have to set up that on-premises everything and not possible. So for that, you have to go for hybrid cloud or whatever you have.
No, I'm
dependency.
I'm completely with you, Shalan. I think it's a great point. Depending on what business line you are in, it will be so cloud or private cloud or whatever you talk about, IT as a service will be applicable to maybe 10%, 20%. In certain cases, it will be 70%. So, as I said in the beginning of my conversation, some of things might apply more to you, and some of things might apply low to you. So it'll actually differ. So I'm completely with you on that. So good inputs on that. Okay. What we see is that for transformation to happen, we are typically seeing, and these are the input coming from the Gartner and folks like this. Network, DC, cloud, and app is there. A core investment is done in this, and this is being, having an overlay of consulting and the professional, the services. Can there be a service provider who actually can provide all these three things and can provide it to the end customer as a single pane of window. Now this is the traction and the requirement what the analysts are seeing in the market. Let me now this is one slide. It might be a bit heavy, but you need to bear with me on this. Okay, now we have an IT as a service approach. So this is a core slide for the workshop, if you ask me. So we'll spend the more time onto it. Now, just start from down below. So we'll have a bottoms up approach. So we'll actually divide the slide into 3 phases. We will have this phase 1, phase 2, and the phase 3. And if this slide is not visible, please ask me. Guys at the back, if it's not visible, folks, please ask me so that I can actually read it out. Any of the IT environment of a company, and we are typically talking at infrastructure layer. There's a bit of the apps layer out here. You have either a data center in your own, the premise, what we call is IT block 1. A building block 2 is an IT stack, which is the network, security, storage, OS, and the middleware. Block 3 is the apps. Block 4 is the services, and the block 5 is the connectivity part of it. Typically, this covers the more or less of the IT stack environment of the customers. Now, we had a journey of ours about 5 years, 8 years back, where every company wanted to build their own the data centers. Now I'm seeing a trend while I go and meet the customers. They're saying, can we move out of our the data center for whatever reasons? It could be the power issues, it could be managing the vendor, it is because of the UPS conflict, or whatever it might be. There are certain challenges which we really don't want to get into. This is a case study which I have taken, and I have validated this personally with about more than 20 CXOs across India. So I'm talking from their perspective also, but I need your input here. We're seeing technical challenges, for example, in data center. It could be in terms of the management. We're seeing the cost is higher when we're looking from the TCO perspective. There's a business, so it's basically broken into 2 things. We have a technical challenge, we have a business, the challenge, and we move from as a state to a transformation state, and then we talk about desired, the state of it. So these are the 3, little blocks. Now I have mentioned certain of the technical, the challenges in each of the blocks. I want you to put your thoughts if there are certain more technical challenges which are actually, missing, but from your personal experience, you see that there are more challenges out here. And what are the business, the challenges what you see. So this is a kind of rough sketch of what I've put out here. But I need your input. So I'm going to talk to a few of the folks out there, and I'll prefer if there's if somebody can raise his hand or can straight away jump in. In data center, what are the technical challenges which you see out here? Let's start from here. Any of you? I have mentioned higher PUE, which is the power utilization and efficiency. I'm sure those high maintenance cost, the challenges in terms of the vendor, the coordination. The cost is going high. The EMC cost is going high. The UPS cost is going high. The battery is the issue. I'm just talking from a very. So we'll start from the building block 1 out here. Are there any challenges which you see which is not getting covered out here? There's something which you can add. Will be great. And Naveen, I would request you to add certain pointers out there. I don't see Naveen here, but maybe you can ask Naveen to add a point. So somebody from here in this. How about you? I'm sorry. Yeah, you. Yeah. Either of you, okay? Either of you, because both.
Challenge is the maintenance actually.
Maintenance.
Because when the infrastructure grows, then you have to deploy more and more manpower to maintain on those. That's the painful area. Because if you are adding 2 more servers, then definitely technology will come. You have to hire a right person to take care of all these things. I'm facing this challenge basically.
So can you be a bit more specific for all of us? I mean, you said there's a problem in maintenance or challenge in maintenance. So what exactly? Can you give an example of yours, or maybe which you feel are the core points which you're trying to tell us?
Yeah, because I have recently installed certain HP servers. They are all rack mount. Now to maintain all those servers, know about HP servers, I need a manpower. Right? Means additional manpower is required.
Yeah.
Right? Another, I have installed certain VMware tools. Right? Virtualization is there, 40 server virtualized in my data center. Now I need a manpower who can look after the VM part. Right. With a data center, I can be at least someone can maintain my things there.
Okay. Okay. So you feel these are the challenges
Yeah.
which you face.
Another is power consumption is because I have to increase the UPS capacity now. Right. Now 2 UPS are there. Now to maintain those, electrical department need to be contacted on daily basis.
Yeah.
Then the refrigeration, that is air conditioning. Earlier in my data center there used to be 2 ACs. Now need more, cooling is required. So that round the clock they can work. One gets down, another takes over. So that infrastructure I am building up.
Okay.
So they are the again challenges.
Again, challenge in terms of it. I think it's very fair point. Can I get your deep
SK Convert.
Sorry?
SK Convert.
Escape from a friend. And you're from which company?
DPP December 20.
Fantastic. Excellent. Any other point here? I think you've covered on the most of the important points from the building block, but I just want the other audience also to get
Environmental point is not over here.
environmental point. But is your company, how would that impact? I mean, why would the CIO, CFO, CEO be bothered of the environment? As such, the UN has told us that the Delhi has the baddest air quality. I mean, as such, the air quality is so bad. I don't know how much will data center improve the air quality of Delhi or the NCR region. Worldwide, we've been categorized as the worst.
Most is whether you have to save your servers. Why do you know you have
being impacted?
air purification?
Yeah, that's another. So your own servers, you're not talking about from that quality. You're talking from your own servers getting impacted because of the air is not good.
Air is not good.
Fantastic point. Very good point.
That's the problem.
That's problem. Okay. Great.
Catastrophe like rain, water, and spoiling the data center, risk is there.
Okay.
There is a risk factor also.
Okay. Okay. That's.
I think what are challenges in terms of redundancy on every aspect, which we may not be building it in our own data centers. We talk of service provider in terms of internet. We talk of service provider in terms of power.
Yes.
Or UPS or DCSATs or these
So
are the things.
is power an issue? Is power an issue in your scenario? Do you feel power becomes an issue?
Yes, yes.
I think the biggest challenge is the change management. You need a new server.
Change management.
You
Very
need
good
a new
point.
server or a new app or whatever. Load balancing, this, that.
I think the most important thing is the fast changing.
Gaurav, can you make a note of these points, please? Yeah, because I don't have Naveen here, so I'll just request you.
No, I'm like,
You're taking it. Thanks.
I think the most important thing if you are saying ITS service model is the fast changing IT technology. Your IT assets are becoming redundant very soon. In every 3 years you are getting a new technology. So if you are just looking for computing power, you don't bother about what technology is there. You are bothered about the computing power you require to run your application. So IT service as a model is the best part is that you are only concerned about the computing power and you are not bothered about what technology is there, what is there, who is going to maintain.
Yes.
I don't bother about it.
What's your name?
Neeraj Dixit.
Neeraj. Neeraj, fantastic point. In fact, one of the points which I wanted to come out here, which was the second building block, IT OSAC. Yeah. So before we move to the second building
I
block.
think the security is also a big concern for us.
Security, yeah. So I think we'll cover the security part, but you're talking security from the physical data center.
Yes.
Okay.
Nee,
So from
actually,
building block one.
IT
So we basically,
security also.
So in building block one, which is the data center per se, you feel security is also an important factor. Okay. Good.
So
point.
firefighting solution also is required.
Firefighting.
That's very important about a data center.
Okay, great. Now, one point which Neeraj actually mentioned, and I need a very genuine show of hands out here. I know it's all genuine, but I'm just trying to I'm just trying to emphasize that word. How much does the brand matters? The question is this: if the service provider, any service provider for that, the matter, is talking of performance and the SLA. I'm reiterating this word, performance and the SLA. How much does the brand matter? For example, Neeraj is talking about the compute part of it. I could understand. So if your application, SAP, ERP, the Navision, Oracle, whatever it might be, if it requires certain performance parameters, 8 cores, whatever, I'm just giving an example, 8 cores, 20 gig memory, whatever, and IOPS of certain storage, does that suffices, or do you feel that brand matters? So the question is, does brand matters or does the performance matter? So I'll split it just to get the right, the feedback from you all.